What if I told you that some of the foods you eat every single day, the snacks in your pantry, the beverages in your fridge, even the ingredients you use in your morning oatmeal, would get you banned in other countries? That's right. Some of the most common, seemingly harmless foods sold in the US are illegal in places like Europe, Japan, and Australia. Governments there have deemed them dangerous or unsafe, citing cancer risks, hormone disruption, or severe allergic reactions. But here in the US, we consume them without blinking an eye. And the worst part? Many of these foods are marketed as healthy, natural, or essential. They're labeled as safe for kids, safe for families, and even heart-healthy in some cases. So why aren't they banned here too? Lobbying, regulatory loopholes, and corporate marketing tricks allow them to flood our grocery stores, cafeterias, and fast food restaurants every single day. By the time you finish watching this video, you're going to see your grocery cart in a completely different light. You'll start questioning every brightly colored cereal box, every soda bottle, every snack that promises health with convenience. Some of these foods might even be in your kitchen right now. And I promise, you won't want to touch a few of them again once you know the truth. Stay with me, because we're counting down 10 everyday foods banned in other countries but freely sold here in the US. Each one comes with a story, a health warning, and yes, shocking reasons why they're illegal elsewhere. From artificial dyes that could affect your child's brain to processed meats laced with growth chemicals, you'll quickly see that the food safety label here isn't always what it seems. At number 10, we have artificial food dyes. Artificial food dyes have been a staple in American snacks for decades. Red 40, Yellow 5, Yellow 6. You've probably seen them listed on cereal boxes, candy bags, or brightly colored drinks. They make foods look appealing, playful, and almost irresistible, especially to children. But behind those neon colors lies a growing body of research raising serious health concerns. In Europe, many of these dyes are banned or tightly regulated. Countries like the UK and Norway require warning labels on products containing certain dyes, alerting parents to possible hyperactivity in children. Studies have shown links between artificial dyes and behavioral issues, including attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD. But in the US, the FDA still allows them, even though researchers have repeatedly called for stricter regulations. Consider this. A single cup of fruit punch could contain multiple synthetic dyes. Add to that a colorful breakfast cereal, gummy snacks, and a soft drink, and a child's body is being exposed to more synthetic coloring than most adults even realize. Long-term exposure has raised concerns in animal studies about potential carcinogenic effects, although the FDA claims the risk is low at current consumption levels. Brands continue to market these dyes aggressively. Brightly colored cereals are associated with fun, magic, and excitement, making them a top choice for parents trying to treat their kids. Candy companies even design their entire packaging around these colors. But while they're harmless at first glance, repeated exposure over months and years could contribute to subtle behavioral or neurological effects, which is why countries outside the US have decided enough is enough. Parents might not even notice these dyes. They're hidden in the ingredient list in names like Allura Red AC or Tartrazine, and companies cleverly bundle them into multiple items in a single snack pack. By the time you pour that sugary cereal into a bowl, the dyes have already done their work, coloring everything from the milk to the spoon, and potentially impacting your child's health. So next time you reach for a box of candy, a neon breakfast cereal, or a bright orange snack bag, remember number 10 on our countdown. Artificial food dyes are banned in multiple countries, but here they thrive, coloring our food and our children's behavior. Number 9. Brominated vegetable oil, BVO. Coming in at number 9 is something you probably never suspected. Brominated vegetable oil, or BVO. You've likely consumed it in citrus-flavored sodas or sports drinks, yet in the European Union, Japan, and even India, it's considered dangerous and banned. BVO was originally developed as a flame retardant. Yes, flame retardant. And now it's in your soda. BVO helps prevent the separation of flavors and maintains the bright appearance of drinks. But studies have linked long-term consumption of BVO to thyroid issues, memory problems, and heart lesions. The chemical can accumulate in body fat and even affect fetal development when pregnant women consume it. Despite these alarming findings, companies like PepsiCo and Coca-Cola have included BVO in select products for decades. Mountain Dew, Powerade, and some citrus sodas are notable examples. In recent years, some companies have started phasing it out in response to consumer backlash, but it's still lurking in store shelves under the radar. The bigger issue? People assume that if it's sold in a grocery store, it must be safe. There's no warning label, no consumer education, just bright, sweet drinks designed to look harmless. The US is one of the few countries that allows BVO at all, while other nations have deemed it too risky for human consumption. So every time you grab a citrus soda or an energy drink, remember number 9 on our list. That fizzy beverage might taste fun, but it contains a chemical banned in most other developed nations. A chemical you're literally drinking by choice. Number 8. Potassium bromate in bread. Coming in at number 8 is something you probably eat every day without a second thought. Bread. Specifically, bread and baked goods containing potassium bromate, a chemical additive used to make dough rise faster and produce fluffier, more appealing loaves. Potassium bromate has a dark side. Studies dating back decades have linked it to kidney and thyroid tumors in lab animals, prompting countries like the UK, Canada, the EU, and China to ban it entirely. Yet here in the US, many bakeries and commercial bread producers continue to use it. Why? It works. Potassium bromate strengthens dough and improves texture, giving bread a uniform, perfect look that consumers unconsciously prefer. But that convenience comes at a cost. You're potentially exposing yourself to a known carcinogen, and the worst part is, there's no labeling requirement. The package might boast freshly baked or enriched wheat, but nothing alerts you to the fact that this chemical additive is in the mix. Even some high-end commercial bakeries and fast food chains use potassium bromate to maintain consistency across products. You might be biting into a burger bun at lunch that has the same chemical additive that's banned overseas. And it's not just bread. Potato buns, dinner rolls, and frozen dough often contain bromate. Parents in particular need to be cautious. Kids consume bread and buns daily, potentially amplifying lifetime exposure. So next time you slice into a loaf or grab a sandwich bun, remember number 8 on our countdown. Potassium bromate might be making your bread fluffier, but it's banned in much of the world for a very good reason. Number 7. Azodicarbonamide, ADA. At number 7, we're diving into a shocking additive you might recognize more from headlines than your pantry. Azodicarbonamide, or ADA. Often nicknamed the yoga mat chemical, ADA is used in bread, frozen dough, and some fast food buns to bleach and improve the elasticity of flour. Why banned elsewhere? ADA is restricted or outright banned in Europe and Australia because it can cause respiratory issues, asthma, and skin irritation, especially for bakery workers exposed to the powder. Ingesting it over time may carry additional health risks, and some studies suggest potential carcinogenic properties when it breaks down during baking. Despite its alarming nickname, ADA is common in U.S. food manufacturing. Fast food giants and frozen bakery brands have historically used it in buns, rolls, and even bagels to maintain consistency and extend shelf life. The shocking part? Most consumers have no idea it's there. A simple glance at the ingredient label reveals it buried in fine print. Azodicarbonamide, a chemical that sounds harmless but is banned in countries with far stricter food safety laws. Fast food chains have faced public backlash after investigative journalism exposed ADA in burger buns, with some brands reformulating recipes. But even today, it exists in frozen dough products and packaged bread nationwide. So next time you bite into that fluffy bun, remember number 7. Azodicarbonamide is banned overseas for good reason. And yet, it still sneaks onto your plate. Number 6. Ractopamine in pork and beef. Sliding in at number 6 is something almost everyone consumes at some point. Pork and beef from conventionally raised animals. Specifically, meat containing ractopamine, a feed additive used to promote lean muscle growth in livestock. Ractopamine is approved in the US and a few other countries, but it's banned in over 160 countries, including the EU, China, and Russia. Why? Studies suggest it may cause heart palpitations, stress responses, and even reproductive issues in animals. And the concern extends to humans who consume meat with residual ractopamine. Farmers feed this additive to pigs, cows, and even turkeys to make them leaner, faster. It's a profitable tool for meat producers, allowing them to sell more pounds with less feed cost. But consumers pay the health price, often unknowingly. International regulators like the European Food Safety Authority maintain that exposure, even at low levels, poses unacceptable health risks, particularly for sensitive populations like children and pregnant women. Meanwhile, U.S. consumers continue to enjoy bacon, hot dogs, and beef products treated with the additive, thinking they're eating a safe standard portion. If you eat conventionally raised pork or beef, there's a chance you've ingested ractopamine, making number 6 a particularly sneaky entry on our countdown. We're halfway there. Make sure to stay to see what we have listed at number 1. It's in quite literally almost everything, especially in America. Coming in at number 5, Olestra. We're moving from meats to snacks. Olestra, the zero-calorie fat substitute used in chips and other fat-free snacks. Marketed as the guilt-free way to enjoy your favorite fried foods, Olestra sounds like a dream. But here's the reality. It's a digestive nightmare. Olestra passes through the body without being absorbed, meaning it carries vitamins and minerals out of your system. It can also cause cramps, bloating, diarrhea, and sudden urgent trips to the bathroom, sometimes even landing people in emergency care. This additive is banned in Canada and the UK, but in the US, it's sold freely in fat-free potato chips, crisps, and snack mixes. Some packaging even brags about no fat, no guilt, masking the potential digestive chaos lurking inside. Food scientists initially praised Olestra for reducing calorie intake, but consumer complaints skyrocketed. The FDA required a warning label in the early 2000s, yet many people still consume it daily without realizing the side effects. And it's not just adults. Kids eating fat-free snacks at school or at home are vulnerable too. The digestive upset can be unpredictable, especially in smaller bodies, making Olestra a top contender for foods that should be banned in more places. So next time you grab a fat-free chip bag, remember number 5. 0 calories may come at the cost of 0 digestive comfort. Number 4. BHA and BHT, more famously known as preservatives. Coming in at number 4 are preservatives you've likely consumed countless times without even realizing it. BHA, butylated hydroxyanisole, and BHT, butylated hydroxytoluene. These chemical preservatives are used in cereals, snack foods, chewing gum, and even some processed meats to extend shelf life and maintain flavor. BHA and BHT are classified as possible human carcinogens by the International Agency for Research on Cancer, IARC. Animal studies have shown links to cancer in the forestomach and liver, prompting countries like Japan and parts of Europe to ban or strictly regulate their use. In the US, they remain legal at certain levels. Food companies continue to use them to prevent oxidation in fats and oils, ensuring that products don't spoil too quickly on shelves. That crunch in your cereal, the long shelf life of that snack mix, BHA and BHT are behind it. But here's the catch. Consuming these preservatives over years, often in combination with other additives, may contribute to subtle long-term health effects. Children who frequently consume sugary cereals are particularly exposed, making these preservatives a hidden risk. Brands rarely advertise the presence of BHA or BHT. You have to dig through the fine print on the ingredient list, and even then, the name sounds completely innocuous. But don't be fooled. This is number 4 on our countdown for a reason. These chemicals are banned in other countries for a reason, yet here, they're a silent part of everyday life. Number 3. PFAS in fast food packaging. At number 3, we're moving away from what's inside your food and looking at what your food comes in. PFAS, also known as forever chemicals. PFAS are used in fast food wrappers, pizza boxes, and microwave popcorn bags to make them grease-resistant and non-stick. Why are they banned elsewhere? PFAS are linked to hormone disruption, liver damage, immune system impairment, and even certain cancers. They persist in the environment and accumulate in the body over time, which is why many countries have started regulating or banning them in food packaging. Here in the US, PFAS are still widespread in fast food packaging. Think about your last burger and fries. Chances are the paper holding that meal was treated with these chemicals. They migrate into food, particularly fatty items, meaning you ingest a small dose with every bite. The problem is compounded by frequency. Many Americans eat fast food multiple times per week. Each exposure may seem insignificant, but over time, PFAS accumulate in the body, leading to long-term health risks. And it's not always obvious. Fast food chains aren't required to label packaging as containing PFAS. Your favorite quick-service restaurant meal might look harmless, but it's silently contributing to chemical buildup in your body. That's why PFAS in packaging earns number 3 on our list. It's invisible, insidious, and banned elsewhere for very good reason. Number 2. Arsenic in rice and apple juice. Sliding in at number 2 is something that sounds like a horror story but is very real. Arsenic in rice and apple juice. Arsenic occurs naturally in soil and water, but high levels are toxic and linked to cancer, heart disease, and developmental issues in children. Some rice and apple juice products in the US contain levels that would never be allowed in Europe or Japan. Brown rice, often marketed as healthy, can accumulate inorganic arsenic from soil and water, exposing consumers to higher concentrations. Apple juice, frequently given to children, can also contain measurable arsenic. Regulators in other countries set strict limits and actively monitor arsenic levels in food. The US has started setting voluntary guidelines, but enforcement and awareness remain low. Parents may unknowingly give their kids daily servings of juice containing trace amounts of this toxic element. The scary part? Arsenic builds up in the body over time. Occasional consumption isn't usually harmful, but daily intake, especially in children, can lead to long-term health issues, including increased cancer risk later in life. So when you pour a bowl of rice or a glass of apple juice, remember number 2 on our countdown. What seems like a staple harmless food could be quietly adding a toxic element to your diet, a level that would be illegal in much of the developed world. So here we are at number 1. Did you have any guesses as to what it might be? Let's see if you were right. Number 1. High fructose corn syrup, HFCS. And finally, the number 1 entry on our countdown, the ingredient lurking in soda, cereals, condiments, and countless processed foods. High fructose corn syrup, HFCS. HFCS is used as a cheap, ultra-sweet sugar substitute. It's responsible for much of the sugar overconsumption epidemic in the US, contributing to obesity, type 2 diabetes, fatty liver disease, and metabolic syndrome. Here's the kicker. HFCS is banned or heavily restricted in some countries due to its health risks and high contribution to dietary disease. Yet in the US, it's ubiquitous. From breakfast cereals to ketchup to soft drinks, HFCS sneaks into nearly every processed food you might touch. Health experts warn that HFCS is particularly harmful because it's absorbed differently than natural sugars, triggering increased fat accumulation in the liver and a higher risk of insulin resistance. Combine that with marketing targeted at children, brightly colored cereals, sweetened drinks, sugary snacks, and you've got a recipe for widespread metabolic health issues. Some brands have started replacing HFCS with cane sugar or other alternatives, but the majority of products still contain it. Your morning cereal, your lunch sandwich, and even your favorite condiments could be delivering a sugar overload without you even realizing it. HFCS earns number 1 on our countdown because it's everywhere, it's legal, and it's a major contributor to preventable health issues. Yet it would be restricted or banned in other countries for good reason. So there you have it, the 10 everyday foods banned in other countries but freely consumed in the US. From artificial dyes to high fructose corn syrup, each entry on this list reveals a hidden truth about our food system. Why are these foods allowed here? It's a combination of regulatory loopholes, corporate lobbying, and consumer ignorance. Companies have perfected marketing and packaging strategies to make products appear safe, appealing, and even healthy, while sidestepping the stricter rules applied elsewhere. The consequences? Consumers may be unknowingly ingesting substances linked to cancer, hormonal disruption, digestive issues, and other health risks. Children, in particular, are vulnerable due to their size, developmental stage, and frequent exposure to processed foods. What can you do? Start by reading labels carefully. Look for ingredients like BVO, ADA, BHA/BHT, artificial dyes, and HFCS. Educate yourself about which additives are banned elsewhere. Opt for whole foods, fresh produce, and products labeled free from controversial chemicals. Even small changes can reduce exposure significantly. And remember, knowledge is power. Being aware of what's in your food allows you to make informed choices. Don't assume that approved in the US automatically means safe for daily consumption. Other countries' bans can serve as a warning. Next time you shop, look a little closer. Examine ingredient lists, question colorful packaging, and reconsider processed foods that seem too convenient. Because when it comes to what you put in your body, ignorance is not bliss. This countdown isn't just about shocking facts. It's about arming yourself with information so you can protect your health, your family, and your future. You now know the hidden risks behind 10 foods you might eat every day. And trust me, once you start paying attention, you'll never look at your grocery cart the same way again. Stay alert, stay informed, and take back control of your diet.